I'm Sari Cooper, a certified sex therapist and sex coach in New York City. I'll be your host to Sex Esteem, a new show where we will explore in all its expressions relationships and sex in the modern world. Tune in for fun-filled facts and entertaining tips to having a more pleasurable sex life. Welcome everyone to another in the series of Sex Esteem Countdown to V-Day 2021. And for this interview, we're talking to Lidia Bonilla, and she has created a really cool product for those of you out there that happen to have a nice collection of sex toys. So welcome, Lidia. I'm so excited to meet you.
I'm excited to be with you. How are you?
I'm great. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you actually get into this femme sex tech world?
Sort of by accident, really, or I wouldn't say by accident, but by curiosity. So what had happened was that I hired a personal organizer to come to my home. So I had, clutter. I couldn't find anything. And she was in my bedroom looking through different drawers, and she found like that drawer, the drawer that every woman has with, like your most favorite things. And I remember saying to her, like, okay, well, now that cat is out of the bag, like, where do people put these things? And she said, there's no place in particular. You can get plastic bins, you could get this kind of box. And I was like, that's not really pretty enough. Plus my nightstand at the time didn't have any drawers. So, it had to be something that could be left out. That was my intent. That was my intention. So I looked for a product myself. I took a jewelry box, different types of boxes, took out the insert, toys didn't fit. And I was like, oh, okay. And just moved on. I forgot about it, moved on to the next design project. And then I happened to go into Babeland to replace the vibrator. And as I was walking out, I asked, so do you have any storage products for sex toys? And she was like, no, but we get that question all the time. And like a light bulb just went off that said, I'll just make one. And since then, after that, I did research to see if what I wanted to create existed, if there was even a need. I went to trade shows, just started to get the lay of the land of what, this industry is about, because I have no product experience or, I had a banking, background. So it was totally a new endeavor for me. So it was really just curiosity and taking, meeting people and taking, different steps.
So you didn't even have a design background. That's cool.
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I was always interested in design. Like I had, designed or helped design a brownstone. I was interested in design and components of it, but did I know how to design a product? Absolutely not.
So, need is the mother of invention. So
yes.
Thank you. I got my box, and what do you call the box?
It's called the Moi Box.
Moi meaning French for
me. Yeah. That wasn't really the intention. It was really, my Moi was my nickname growing up. So I just thought like, oh, it's cute. It's short. People can pronounce it. Go with that.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, I thought it was either French for me, or I thought it was like moi, like I love you.
Yes, like a kiss. So it was like, it's short. It has like different, sounds. And also I like the fact that when you say it, you have to like use your whole mouth. It's like, mwah, like a kiss. So
like a kiss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, I gotta tell you, I love the sleek design. It's like lacquer. It looks like a jewelry box. It's very sleek.
Yes.
And it comes in other colors. This is kind of like a graphite.
Yes.
And
yes.
It has this really cool leather closing latch. And then you have actually a place to put the key, which comes with it.
Yes. And the really cool thing about the design is that it was actually designed by a male industrial designer. I remember at first I really wanted to work with a woman, and female industrial designers are kind of hard to find. And I came across one, and she said, look, here at our firm, this is going to be way too expensive working with us. But I have worked with someone that, has our aesthetic and under, does, works with under our principles. And so I hired him, and he really did fulfill the other intention was that it not be girly, like too like quote unquote girly, and also address like the stereotypes of what something feminine is in the industry. Like a lot of people don't know, but the sexual industry is very male dominated, and more so, less so now than when I first started, but definitely then it was very male dominated. And so men will just create these products, that think that, okay, women like things that'll be ultra pink and bright and vinyl and look like lips. I mean, just like cartoonish.
Yeah, that's a good description of what a lot of them look like. You went to all those
Yeah.
trade shows, but this is actually, I would buy this not only for my toys, but I would buy this as a jewelry box because I think it's sleek and modern and just
Mhm.
just this is my aesthetic. I love sleek and modern. So inside, let me just put it down. So there's lots of room inside, and what you do is you include a little bag. So
Yes.
tell me about this, like why you created this part.
Well, the original intention was, it's funny how the products work. It's like, you have one intention, you're like, oh, it'll work for this too. It's cool that things can be multi-purpose. Um, Sidebar, my hairstylist actually uses that for her shears. So it has, and it's just like, I don't have a whole bunch of sex toys, but I love this thing for my shears because she's, spends quite a bit of money on her shears. But at any rate, that the intention of that was to take like smaller items to the bed. So if you wanted to, handcuffs and like lube and all that, you can just, instead of having to go into the nightstand, maybe across the room, to sort of take that with you. And then as we were designing, we realized too, like, there's actually a need for people, for people who travel with sex toys, which, and that was also an inspiration, like all the horror stories that we Googled about people being, found out at airports and
Right.
and things like that.
Like
So
stuff in
that's,
bags and it suddenly like falls over.
yeah,
And like,
yeah. Or it looks like they say, oh, it looks like a weapon or something, and so they open the bag and then they put you to the side, and that whole production, which could be quite embarrassing. Which is the reason why the zipper goes all the way around, so that way you can, if you do get stopped by TSA, they could just open it and not actually have to touch anything inside.
right. And so there's a place for condoms here,
Yes.
right? Up
Yeah.
with this lighting, but you have like this mesh netting pocket, and then you
Yeah.
have these elastic straps that hold the toys in place so they don't jiggle around.
Yes, because I'm fairly, type A, I'm a Virgo. I like things to be straight. And so that was really important, that it's like things wouldn't move around and wobble around and just look, different than when you first put it down.
And this is called, your company is called Plume.
Yes.
Which means?
Yes, House of Plume, yeah. Yeah, that, it's funny, they create names. It actually doesn't really have a meaning other than I just, I really like the way that it looked. I like the inspiration of it being related to a feather. So like, the allure of a peacock. But yeah, it just basically, means like the intention is a connotation of like taking care of oneself, of, of prioritizing, pleasure, and, to kind of to show it off, sort of like a peacock too, not to be ashamed of it.
Right. I love that part of it, that you can
Mhm.
put it on the table and you don't have to feel embarrassed. And if you have kids
Yes.
around, it has, it does have a little key, a little longer
Yes.
to say, that has your own personal combination for it. So
Right.
um,
Right.
it's still so funny how people are embarrassed about their, sex toys. And since many of them are women, it's embarrassment about their pleasure, right?
Yes, yeah, it's the vulnerability of it, of like, knowing someone else, knowing that this is something that you enjoy, which I think. So I want to say actually two things about that. Number one, in the 7 years that we've been in business, no one has ever reached out to me and said, "Lydia, my sex drive, my mother found them. This doesn't work," or "My kids found them." Never had any stories like that. So it actually, the intention actually, of it being sleek and not sex toy looking, is it meets that. um Second is that, uh I also think that's the reason why half of my customers are men, because they've bought it on the behalf of like to give to their partners, because of dressing that need of like embarrassment, like, oh yeah, I want to try something, but we got these three kids, and you know how nosy they are, and like that. So yeah, I think it's the it's the human condition. No matter what, those are the things that are make us feel vulnerable.
Right. So you've had the business for 7 years. Are
Mhm.
you planning new products?
I have thought of making products, or larger products for the BDSM folks, because some like say, oh, our toys are big, or also like for the larger toys, like there's the wand, or those sort of toys too, that women are like married to those things, like they love a wand, and they're fairly, some of them are fairly big, so yeah, something to accommodate something larger.
Oh, great. So I'm asking, first of all, have you gotten any response specifically from some of your customers during COVID? That's what I keep asking my guests because we've been through, it's been
Mhm.
a long year.
Yes. So I have been fortunate in the sense that sales were positively impacted by COVID. I think when you are home long enough, you start to see things and go, "Oh, I really ought to get something for that," or "I really ought to paint," or whatever. So in that aspect, we weren't as a company, we're not negatively impacted. I
Mm.
think also there's the just the oh, I need a product type thing, and meeting that need. But I think the other aspect is like, as people have spent more time not doing the things that would normally keep them busy, with going out, with different, functions, and all these things that kind of fill up our schedule when you are an active person in the world. Not having those things and just being able to sit and be with yourself
Mhm.
is allow people to see the need for addressing pleasure and addressing the things that really matter, because life can shift very quickly. It could be like a saying, it could be like, oh yeah, your life could change any moment, but we really have experienced life changing very drastically from moment to moment,
Yeah.
and now for an extended period of time. It's going to be a year, next month.
No, can you believe it? I know.
I can't believe it, actually.
I love what you said, though, about the fact that we've had more time, that we've actually been able to take a breath to think about our own pleasure. I think
Mhm.
many women tend to like, maybe rush it or put it off because they have so many responsibilities. And given the extra time that they don't have to commute, I mean, for those with kids, they're like, forget about it. They're up to their eyeballs. But still,
Homeschooling, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
to be able to
Mm.
say, look, I'm going to take this time, I'm going to go in the shower, leave me alone. and
Mhm.
and be able to just focus on their own embodiment and their own pleasure, but also just relaxation. you know?
Yes, yeah, and to break it up, after a while you do get like stir crazy. I mean, not after a while, after a short while, I think you kind of sort of get stir crazy and start to think, okay, I got to do something, and doing something physical, either working out, masturbating, sex is like the closest thing to sort of to find an outlet for those, various emotions that we may all be dealing with right now.
One of the things I've been asking all my guests, and I'd love to ask you, is
Mm.
what do you wish, if you could go back to your younger self, what do you wish you knew then that you know now around sexuality and eroticism?
Well, that's a great question. What I would tell my younger self, I would say, don't have sex because he wants to. I think a good part of my 20s was, though I eventually wanted to have sex, I was having sex because a guy wanted to. Um, and I would definitely tell my younger self to really enjoy it and really demand, like it's your job to feel good about it, and it's not something you're just doing to to fulfill, you know, his need.
Thanks. I like that.
Mm.
Yeah. Are there other things that you want to say to the folks listening out there about Valentine's Day, about pleasure, about sexuality? Um, you know, to sort of take it in a different message this year, given this is, a Valentine's Day that will be at home.
Yeah. Yes, or at least really different. I would say, do what really do what you really desire. Give yourself the the grace to slow down, and really think about, what is it you want to do, what is it you want, and do it. Even if it's a small thing, it doesn't have to be like tomorrow you become a swinger. It doesn't have to like go from 0 to 100. It can just be something, really small, like, ordering a toy that, looks interesting, but it may intimidate, might look intimidating or something like that. Just trying something different because it simply feels good. And pleasure to me, can't not only does it feel good, it's transformative, but it's healing, and it's now more than ever it's necessary.
Well, that is a best message I could even, create myself. I love that message of healing and transformation, and
Mm,
we all need that. So,
mhm.
well, thank you so much. And I'm hoping that you have a good, relaxing, pleasurable V-Day. Do you have any fun plans, or are you just gonna chill out?
I'm going to get to the beach. That's usually what my fun plans, involve is getting to the beach. So I'm grateful to be somewhere warm, this year. So that's what I'll be doing. And I just actually have one last thing, is that I would love to offer your community a gift, which is if they use the, coupon code, they'd be able to get a 20% off, their order.
Thank you. We'll definitely
Yeah,
put
you're
that
welcome.
up there. And it was good to meet you. And I can't wait till we meet in person back in New York
Yes.
at some point.
Yes. Yeah, when it's warmer.
Yeah.